Okay, so I'm interviewing Frank Tran, my best friend, and we're going to go start off now. Frank, could you please describe the most important values and beliefs of your culture?
Right. So in Chinese culture, we believe we believe in moral conducts and filial affection mostly. By moral conduct, which I meant by respecting of life, and that's include like people, animal, and plants. And by filial affection, it's more like respecting parents, respecting and loving the parents. Those two are highly practiced by our Chinese culture. So and also I am also a Buddhist. So in Buddhist culture, we believe a lot in karma and reincarnation beliefs. Whatever we do in this life, it will come back around. That's one of the main point of karma. Then for reincarnation, is really depends what we do in this life. It's either good or bad deed. So if we able to do more good deeds, then we able to reincarnate back to human. Or if we do more bad deeds, we can they reincarnate back to animal. But I wouldn't want to emphasize too much on reincarnation. So those are the top beliefs and values that I believe are the most important to me.
Okay. Question 2. Please describe important cultural events, celebrations, and practices in your culture.
There's 2 events that I believe are the most known and most important. First one is the Chinese New Year, which is highly celebrated by people in Asian countries. So we celebrate January 1st and the lunar calendar. In our since we have 2 separate type of calendar systems. Right now in the Western calendar, we call it Gregorian calendar. That's January 1st. Of course, that will be a New Year's. And lunar calendar, it's actually like the first day of the first month, which is can call Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year. That event is the most important, and we have a lot of events and celebration going towards that day. Then the second event is what we call it the Day of the Dead, which is celebrate the spirit of the deceased. So on that day, we believe the gates of hell open up and the ghosts will come out of hell and roam around the land. In Chinese culture, our family and friends will burn incense and joss paper. So we believe that by burning those, we offer them like money and protection when they go back down to hell. And in Chinese culture, we believe when you go to hell, you can use the money to bribe the judge, the hell judge, so you can get be more lenient on you. So that's very another important event for the Chinese cultures. To celebrate the dead.
Okay, thank you. Question 3: What are some reading materials, films, or videos that can help us learn about your culture?
So if you talk about in Buddhist culture, we have Chinese scriptures that just basically in Chinese language. It's really hard to translate it into English because it's not really meant for Western dialects, Western teaching. But we have like YouTube, and in YouTube we have like English-speaking monks that can help you explain what the Chinese scripture is about and explain the Buddhism of the Buddhism religion and how it affects our life, our followers, our believers, and what the main goal is. So, and if you want to know more about Chinese cultures, we have 3 of the most popular books that people read to know more about Chinese events, living styles, and stuff like that. The first book I'm going to talk a little bit about is Dream of the Red Chamber. It's basically the book is about the living styles of a aristocratic family that lived in the Qing dynasty and how they went through their daily lives and all the political dramas and those noble families. And the second one is Journey to the West. It's about it's a fictional story, even though it's a fictional story that takes place back in China, where this monk travels to India to pick up a Buddhist scripture to study and bring back the studies and the knowledge back to China. It's talk about every day. It's talk about this daily adventures of what this team of monk and his students do and study about. So that's the second book. And the third one is The Romance of the Three Kingdoms. That book is talk about the war back then in 200 AD. It's talk about the war between three different kingdoms in China, and talk about the real life events of the war generals, the king, and the battles. So it's really those books are really interesting to know about more about China, Chinese histories and cultures.
Okay. Question 4. How do you think others outside of your culture view your culture?
I personally believe that they're really appreciative and really interested in our Chinese cultures. We have a lot of people, love our food, our language, and our respect for moral values. So everybody wants to know about the Chinese language, mainly Mandarin, which you can highly use in like business. So a lot of people want to study Mandarin so they can expand their personal knowledge. So I believe it's people really love our Chinese cultures.
Okay. Question 5. What are the fondest memories you have from your childhood?
Well, the most fondest memories will be definitely my Chinese New Year days. We have our family tradition. Basically, is basically on the eve of Chinese New Year, we will eat a big feast. Then we will set up an altar and pray to the Buddha and Buddha's vista for all the things in life, and for what we're thankful for. Then we will stay up all night. We'll stay up all night into the next day. Then we will gather the whole family, including uncles, aunts, cousins, and to my grandparents' house, and we will give out red envelopes. Usually those red envelope is like a symbolic representation of wealth, health, and prosperity. So usually that's the most love event and that part of the day, because red envelopes filled with money, which as a kid I was like really in need of. So then on that Chinese New Year day, we will go to 3 different temples and pray to Buddha and to the heavens, for better New Year, for pray for good health, lot of wealth and all that good stuff. So then after that, we just eat more and feast more. That's my most fondest memory.
Okay, sounds good. Question 6: have you ever experienced prejudice or discrimination? Please elaborate.
From what I remember, I don't have that much discrimination against me, but I do remember a time that where when I was younger, kids would call me Buddha because I kind of look like him. I'm like a chubby and I have like a big earlobe, big smile, so everybody's calling me that nickname. Then some, and I have like other people that makes jokes about Chinese pronunciation, about ching ching chong and stuff like that. It doesn't really hurt me, but it's sometimes a little bit. So and the most the memory I have, the most discriminating memory I have was actually about stinky tofu, which is it smells like Chinese people will Chinese people will eat stinky tofu because it smells like poop, but it actually tastes good. So a lot of foreigners would think that why Chinese people eating poop, but it's not poop, since it's fermented tofu, so it came out smell like that, but it's actually pretty good. Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. And question number 7: how do you perceive counseling and counselors?
So how do I perceive them? So for the life and counselors, I believe it's much needed. I believe like everybody, they're needed, and I believe everybody's the counselors are needed because those are the people that can help a lot of depressed people that doesn't have anybody to go to, for people who doesn't want to talk to their family or their friends, they can go to those counselors and guide them in a non-judgmental way. That it could influence them to the right path, and and not think about suicide, or give them a good path to go to.
Okay. Question 8. When it comes to counseling, what approach or intervention do you think would help you or someone from your cultural group the most?
One method I learned in our cultures is about meditation. 1 hour of meditation a day helps you a lot, mentally and physically. Basically, it can help you relax from daily stress, and it helps you clear your head a lot. It helps you help a lot with your health. It's then from your daily meditations, you have more a positive outlook in life. You're respecting respecting more towards respecting other people, which can turn out into a good environment for everybody. Without those practice, without those positive environment, we have a lot of negativities in the world today, and it will affect a lot of people. So by end up have a positive outlook, and you give other people positive environment, positive feeling, then that helps spreads the positive, and the loving emotion towards other people. That will help the world better.
Okay, sounds good. Question 9, the last one. Is there anything else that you would like to add to help me understand your culture better?
I wouldn't say there. I wouldn't add any. I can't really think of much, but except look towards participate in more Chinese more events, and our Chinese events that give you more outlook in our culture. And a lot of people doesn't know that spaghetti was actually invented by Marco Polo when he came to China and get our noodles from China. So technically, spaghetti noodles actually came from China, and that's how spaghetti's created from the noodles in China.
All right, thank you for that, Frank. And that's all the interview for my best friend Frank. Thank you.